If you've decided to use sand for the bottom, now is a good point to bring it in, otherwise you'll be hoisting it over the pool walls. You'll want to cover the area to a depth of about 2 inches or 5 centimeters, but keep it away from the base rails until the walls are up, otherwise you'll clog them with sand. We've decided to use the preformed pool bottom.
There are a couple of advantages. First, it won't shift around or leave footprints like sand can. And second, it acts as an insulator, which helps your pool water retain heat better. If you're unsure of what to use, ask your pool dealer for their recommendation.
Now comes a really important part in the process, putting up the pool wall. You have to wait until a calm day, because if it's too windy, you run the risk of bending or damaging the wall, and it's just plain and simply too difficult to handle.
If you've got a friend or a neighbor that can help, like Jeff here, get extra hands to help you with the pool wall. It'll make the job a lot easier. We'll start by unpacking the pool liner and spreading it out in the sun for a couple of hours. This will help make it more pliable and easier to work with when it comes time to install it. That'll help you remove any wrinkles. Place 2 large pieces of cardboard or square chunks of plywood in the center of the pool. Unpack the pool wall and stand it on end on this plywood. Look for the arrow to tell you which way is up.
Cut the strap, being careful not to scratch the pool wall with the knife. The pool wall is wrapped really tightly, so to make things easier, Jeff and I are going to unravel the coil.
For the best results, place the skimmer on the downwind side of the pool. That way, leaves and debris will naturally find their way into the skimmer.
In this backyard, the winds tend to blow out of the west, so we'll put that skimmer cutout to the east.
By the way, here's where Atlantic Pools has used its engineering know-how to your advantage. This edge shows the quadrifold system. The wall seam is formed by a double fold that's 4 times the thickness of the wall. And notice that the holes aren't evenly spaced. They're engineered to counter the force of the water on the pool wall for extra strength and stability.
In order to hide the seam of the pool wall and for the overall strength of the pool, the starting end of the wall must be placed directly over a base plate. Slide the bottom edge of the wall into the curved bottom rails.
This is where extra hands are useful. Get someone to hold this end of the pool wall in place as you work. Or you can use a ladder and temporarily duct tape the wall end to the ladder to hold it up. You'll need a ladder later to climb in and out of the finished pool, so it's probably a good idea to do this anyway.
You'll find these slotted tubes in your pool hardware kit. Now, as you uncoil the wall, what you want to do is fasten them to the top edge of the pool wall, making sure the ends line up with a base plate. Now, Atlantic is one of the only pool manufacturers to use these unique tubes. They allow the wall to stand on its own without having to use cumbersome guy wires. You'll really appreciate this feature. Where the slotted tubes meet, join them with a slotted tube connector. Slide one end of the connector onto the tube and slide the next tube into the connector, leaving a 1/2 inch or 13 millimeter gap between each slotted tube.
Continue working your way around the pool, uncoiling the wall as you go and moving the plywood sheets or cardboard as necessary. Keep sliding the bottom edge into the base rails and covering the top edge with slotted tubes and tube connectors.
Nice. Beauty. Okay, you see we have a gap. Don't worry if that happens to you. It happens often. Either you're too short or it overlaps, it's too long. It doesn't take much to make some minor adjustments so that the holes on both ends of the walls actually meet up.
If the wall is too short like ours, just remove the small wooden blocks from between the base rails and tap carefully on the wall against the base plates on the outside of the pool. This will make the circle smaller and bring your ends closer together.
If the wall is too long, do the same thing from the inside of the pool to make the circle larger. When you have the two wall ends close to each other, it's a good idea to use a screwdriver, put it in the bottom hole and the top hole to keep the wall aligned. Make sure you don't scratch the paint though.
Fasten the wall together using these nuts and bolts. The bolt heads go on the inside of the pool and the nuts on the outside.
Once you have all your nuts and bolts in place, fasten them securely using a cordless power drill with a Phillips head. But make sure you don't over-tighten them. This can create metal burrs and that can tear the pool liner. Okay.
After you've tightened all the bolts, cover each bolt head with 2 or 3 strips of duct tape. That'll protect the liner from any damage.
Once you've got the pool wall up, what you want to do is take a piece of cord and a line level, stretch it from one side of the pool to the other, and make sure it's all level. You just hook the level onto the cord and stretch it out across the pool wall. Yeah, pull it tight. Check the wall in several different directions. Make sure the pool area is level within 1 inch or 25 millimeters across the entire diameter. Remember, an unlevel pool is extremely unsafe. It could collapse suddenly.
You should also check to ensure that the pool is round. Measure across the pool at each base plate. Each measurement must be no more than 1 inch or 25 millimeters larger or smaller than any others. Nudge the base plates in or out with your foot to make adjustments.
Remember, adjusting the pool like this could cause the base rails and plates to slip out of alignment. Once you have the shape, recheck the base plates to make sure the rails are centered and the plates themselves are centered over the limestone pad or the patio stone. You want to check your slotted tubes and connectors. Make sure that the connectors are centered over the base plate. And you can ensure this by securing it with a couple of pieces of duct tape.
Now that the pool is level and round, we can go ahead and finish preparing our pool bottom. Remember, we used a pre-cut styrofoam bottom for our pool. But if you're using sand, spread it evenly across the bottom of the pool, right up to the base rails, and tamp it slightly.
Once you've got the pieces together, use some duct tape over the seams just to make sure they don't come apart.
Regardless of whether you've used sand or a pool bottom, you'll need to make a gently curved cove around the bottom edge of the pool using brick sand.
The cove is an important part of the pool structure because it redistributes the water pressure to the bottom edge of the pool wall. The cove must be 6 inches or 15 centimeters high and about 8 inches or 20 centimeters wide all around the pool. Pack the cove firmly, but make sure you don't push too hard or you could move the pool wall.